So we're going to derive the input-output voltage relationship of a Cuk converter. And no, it's not Cuk converter. So in a similar fashion to the other DC-DC converters, we'll analyze two modes of operation for the circuit. One in which the switch here is closed. We'll call that time period dt, where d is the duty cycle and t is the period. And for the second circuit, it will be when the switch is open, which we'll call 1 minus d times t, where 1 minus d is the remainder of the duty cycle. For this topology, the energy transfer is dependent on C1, unlike the other ones where it was dependent on the inductor. Now we're going to assign the positive and negative references for each component, starting with L1, where we'll put it positive to match the positive terminal of the source, which we'll call this VL1, and also C1, we'll have this called VC1, and it flips here for VL2, where it'll match the positive terminal of the output. And since it's in parallel with the resistor, we don't need to say VC2, we can just call this VO as well, to eliminate one variable. Now for the circuit in which the switch is closed, again it's called DT. We'll redraw the circuit. We're going to short the switch. And the output resistor and capacitor can stay the same. We'll put Vout over here, and VL2 will be the same orientation as before. And I don't believe it matters, but you can actually change the orientations as long as they're consistent throughout the entire system of equations. Now we put the diode as open since the supply is going to short to this wire here, since it's the path of least resistance. So there will be no voltage across here. We're going to do 2 KVL loops, or in other words, Kirchhoff's voltage loop, where we'll call this equation 1, starting from here and going around. It's negative Vs plus VL1 equals 0. Since equations 1 and, in the future, equation 3 for when we draw the schematic as switch opened, we will want to reuse VL1 and set them equal to each other. So we'll put that on the left-hand side and say VL1 equals Vs. Now for equation 2, starting from here and going around, we have positive Vc1 minus VL2 plus VO equals 0. Now let's rearrange for VL2 by putting it over on the right-hand side. It'll become VL2 equals Vc1 plus VO. Now let's draw the schematic for which the switch is open. 1 minus d times t. Now in this case, the diode is shorted, due to the fact that the power supply will provide the voltage across VL1 and eventually return to the negative portion of the path, which we'll call 3. And we need to do one more loop for equation 4. If you want a more in-depth explanation as to how the Cuk converter works for both stages, I attach a pretty good video that explains it in the description below. Now, for equation 3, starting from here again, we have negative Vs plus VL1 plus Vc1 equals 0. Since we're going to want to cancel out VL1 with equation 1, we'll keep it on the left-hand side and move the other two to the right. So it becomes VL1 equals Vs minus Vc1. For equation 4, all we have is negative VL2 plus VO equals 0, and VL2, moving it on the right-hand side, will equal VO. Given that the average inductor voltage over the entire operation of this time period t will equal 0, we can say that VL1 open plus VL1 closed will equal 0. In other words, equation 3 plus equation 1. In no particular order. We just need to remember to multiply both of them by their respective duty cycles and periods. So for VL open, we said that VL1 equals Vs minus Vc1 times 1 minus dt. And we add that with our VL1 equation for which the switch was closed, which was only Vs times dt equals 0. We can divide both sides by t to make it a little easier to solve. And distributing, we have Vs minus dVs minus Vc1 plus dVc1 plus dVs equals 0. Fortunately, the dVs's cancel. And now we're going to isolate Vc1 so that we'll apply the same process for the other two equations for VL2. So Vs equals Vc1 minus dVc1. Factoring, we have 1 minus d, Vc1 equals Vs, and we can divide by 1 minus d, which gives us our equation, which we'll call equation A, as Vc1 equals Vs over 1 minus d. And I'll say that's equation A. Now we have VL2 open plus VL2 closed equals 0. And this is equivalently equation 4 plus equation 2 equals 0. Plugging that in, we have VO times 1 minus dt plus Vc1 plus VO, our equation 2, dt equals 0. Again, we divide by t, and distributing, VO minus dVO plus dVc1 plus dVO equals 0. dVO's cancel. So again, we're going to isolate Vc1, set that against negative VO, divide both sides by d, and we get Vc1 equals negative VO over d. We'll call this equation B. And as you can tell, equations A and B have a common term of Vc1. Now I'm going to make some space so we can finish up the problem. Okay, now that I made some space, we can set equation A equal to equation B, since they both have Vc1. Doing that, we have Vs over 1 minus d equals negative VO over d. If you want the output VO in terms of Vs, all we got to do is multiply both sides by negative 1. So we get VO over d equals negative Vs over 1 minus d. And you can see we're almost done because the output voltage will be inverted from the input voltage, which is a characteristic of this DC-DC converter. And the last step is to multiply both sides by d, which would give us our final answer of VO equals negative d over 1 minus d Vs. Since we have the duty cycle on the numerator and denominator, this acts very similarly to a buck boost where you can both increase or decrease the output voltage from the input. The main difference though between the Cuk converter and the buck boost is the additional active components for the inductor and capacitor, since now we have two pairs of them. Doing this will reduce the voltage ripple at a cost of including double the components. So I hope this video helped. If it did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.